Oh man, it is time for another episode of Small Biz Bites. We have someone I consider extremely special. Let's get into it. Yes. You know what? It's already Thursday.
Yeah.
It's already Thursday. It's funny how that happens so fast. When you have a holiday, like on a Tuesday, it just throws everything off. Welcome everybody to Small Biz Bites. I am Gwendolyn G. R. Houston Jack. Woo, that's a mouthful.
Yes.
But golly, I love it. I love it. We are streaming live today to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And if you happen to be on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to, hit the notification bell because we love what we're doing. And oh my goodness, I have a great guest today. A great guest. I said, Miss Ma'am, I need you to come on to my show because the information you have, the knowledge you have, everyone would benefit from listening to you, interacting with you. So I want to say this before we get into it and have her introduce herself. Let us know where you're chiming in from in the comments because we love to talk to our community. Let us know what city, state, country, your choice. Let us know where you are. We want to hear from you. And let's see here. So, Miss Naomi, would you tell us who you are?
Hi there. Well, first of all, I love your glasses.
Thank you.
I am Naomi Butler. I'm quite a few things. I'm a business owner for 35 years. I'm a cancer survivor / warrior. That means it's ongoing. I'm a speaker. I'm an artist. I am a mom, a grandma. I am all kinds of stuff because with my YouTube channel, you'll see I love to play the piano. I love to do this. I love to do that. So I guess my main priority every day is my business. Bridal Shows Inc., which I own and produce the Dallas Bridal Show twice a year. That's the big one at Market Hall here in Dallas. Mm-hmm. And that one's 34 years this year. Ooh. I have my Plano Bridal Show and some other smaller shows. I sold my home improvement show in 98. It was 250,000 square feet at the Dallas Convention Center. And I had 450 companies in it twice a year. So that was from 1990 to 1998. So people who see me now may not know the background of the home improvement show, which was huge. It was 2.5 times the size of my Dallas Bridal Show pre-COVID. So that just kind of gives you a glimpse into a little bit of what I do.
God bless it. As I said, people would truly benefit from listening and interacting with you. So first of all, let me get a shout out to my mama.
Aww.
Hello, mother. Hello there. We finally got her a picture. Because I said, with all the images we have created for you, I know we can get you a really nice image and not have just a letter as an avatar. I know we can work that out. So let me go back to a few things here really quick before we get into what you're currently doing. Because you mentioned just in that little set there that you are involved in a number of businesses, So just tell me, as a person who is, how do I even say it? Like, clearly you do well with the multitasking and navigating all the waters. Was that always in your wheelhouse, or did you learn that over time?
Well, I think the word multitasking is probably not true because we can't do two things at once. I think we can only do one thing at a time. And even though I have this long to-do list, I have to work on one thing at a time and take those priorities. But it's a challenge when you've got 20 priorities, because you've got a show coming up.
Yeah.
And so you got to still take the top priority. And it's called, I'm going to show you some books every once in a while. You've probably heard this one, Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. It's doing what's most.
I've always heard about eating elephants, never frogs.
There's one of those too, but this one's called Eat That Frog. And it's talking about doing what's most important first. So no matter what your to-do list is, take that top priority, and that could be different. It might not be the one thing that's making you the most money today. It may be something different, but just whatever you think is the top priority, work those down. And so it's not really multitasking to me. It's one thing at a time.
Would you say it's more like juggling multiple balls in the air?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. She's like, oh, yeah.
I don't know how to juggle, so I'm just going to take one ball at a time.
Hey, really quick, before we get into the businesses that you are involved in, we want to give a shout out to Gary Jackson, who's tuning in today.
Hey, Gary.
Hello, Gary. Thank you for giving us this hour. Love to have our community here. So I'm going to run down what you're currently involved in as you're juggling, as you say, all these balls. And I think it's timely because yesterday, was it yesterday? I forget sometimes. The days kind of all blend together. It's the heat does it. But yesterday I had posted that we are more than just one thing. I know a lot of times we hear, especially like in school and in college, that we should, hone in on one skill. And I do believe that, but we are blessed with multiple talents, right? So we're not just one thing. As I was saying, I'm a video podcast host. We are a career coach. We are an educator, content creator, a pretty good aunt and grandma myself. I think a wonderful wife, if I can give my own kudos. So we're doing all the things. So when we talk about you and these multiple businesses, I just can't help but go back to, you're doing like everything. And I am here for it, Naomi. I am here for it. So let me start with number one, which is the Bridal Shows, Inc. Tell us more about that particular business.
I am what you call a show producer. If you've ever been to a home show, a bridal show, a craft show, an RV show, a car show, there is either someone or a group that produces that event, and that's what I do. I have produced trade shows, conferences, mainly consumer shows. That's my specialty. And so there's been over 350 events, not just home shows and bridal shows, but other events. And I love it because my goal with everything I do is to help people, help build their business, and help them to be confident. Whether they do shows or not, it's all about helping them. That's what I love to do. So my bridal shows, I've been doing since 1988. And other shows, it started out with mall shows even, but in 1990 is when I started the Dallas Bridal Show and the Plano Bridal Show. And then, so they're 34 years this year. And then the Fort Worth Bridal Show was, I think, 98. And then the Las Colinas Bridal Show, and there's been a lot of others since then. But it's helping the wedding industry. I sold my home improvement show, and I still have a lot of buddies and a lot of friends in that industry. And it's just all about helping them to build their business.
That is awesome. I think to myself, I know I've gone to in Houston a few expos. And if I can just pick your brain really quick, because we love a good sidebar here. We love a good sidebar. Why do you believe consumers enjoy attending these kinds of events?
And that's a loaded question.
Should I hold it off? Should I stop?
No,
Should I wait?
No, I'm just going to run through what maybe the top ones are, because if, let's say, with the bridal world, with the wedding industry, and you're an engaged couple about to get married, and instead of driving around the whole city going from shop to shop, company to company to interview them to see if you want to do business with them, at a show you've got a chance to meet a lot of companies face to face to get to know them. If that's maybe somebody you want to have plan your wedding or do the photography for you, you might talk to 3 or 4 people and think, oh, I loved that one. I had somebody tell me this. It was a photographer, and she was at our Plano Bridal show many years ago. And she said, Naomi, I had a bride come to me and say, I'd already picked my photographer, but I'm switching to you because of your smile. And so I tell people smiling is one of those important things. But when a couple's coming to plan their wedding, and it might be that it's the bride, sometimes it's been the groom that's planning the wedding, seriously, and they're able to interview everybody face to face in one weekend, one location, without having to drive around. So it saves them a lot of stress, a lot of time, a lot of money, and they may be able to pick out their top 5 to 10 things at one show. So it really is amazing how it can help them.
Golly, that's awesome. Because I'm thinking to myself, it's the one-stop shopping, like you mentioned. And depending on where you are, like obviously we're in Texas. Everything is up the road, and that's code word for 2 hours. So if we can get things done in one place, we definitely want to do that. We want to, again, welcome in our community. Hello, Black Eighth Element. Good afternoon to you. We have Spencer B tuning in as well. Everybody's showing up. And I want to say this, if you have questions, either as a consumer or a small business owner for Naomi, by all means, go ahead and pop them in the comments. We'll be answering those questions. I do want to continue because, as I mentioned before, Naomi is talented, as I believe a lot of us are. We are more than just our job, just our career. So Naomi, tell me about Abstract Arts by Naomi.
That is something that just happened in 2012. I went to Painting with a Twist with one of the wedding associations. They had an event that night, and I thought, I can't paint, I can't draw, but I'm just going to go have fun. Okay. And so we're supposed to be painting bubbles. Okay. And the person sitting by me is a true artist, and she's doing it perfect. And then I just I guess I was a rebel that night. I don't know why, but I just started veering off and doing something different and mixing. And it came to a point where I thought, okay, I'm kind of through. I don't even know what I have here. And somebody said, that looks like fire. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm going to call it fire, and it's done. And so I did something totally different. When you see all of those, go to those events, all of their paintings look alike.
They do. Yeah.
Mine was totally different. And I went home, and that weekend I remembered how much fun I had. And so I started buying canvases and brushes and paints, and the rest is history. And I mainly do contemporary abstracts. I've done commissions. I even had one, I don't know if it was 2 years ago, maybe. I was in the middle of one of my color song series, and I had somebody I'd met at market. She lived in, I think, Missouri. She said, Naomi, I want to buy it. And I said, I'm not even through with it. She said, no, I like it just like it is. And she's another artist. And so it has just developed. I just love it. I teach people, even in workshops that I have, to just let go, have fun, and just slap it on. Just, if you go to my YouTube channel and you go all the way down to the bottom of some of the painting videos, you're going to see this one right here. It started out where I just started putting little things and using different tools, and I turned it upside down and just kept going. So by the time you go from part 1 to 6, I believe, it ends up being conversations. So I just love having fun with it, and it's just so freeing to me.
What's beautiful about that story is, if you look at the world today, we are so focused on putting everybody in a box, right? Everybody march in line, follow the same song, sing from the same page. And you came in and said, you know what? I'm just going to do whatever is in my heart and let it go. And someone was like, this is beautiful. This is amazing. That's the beauty of being an individual and being authentic to yourself. I don't have those skills. My sister does amazing work, always has. And I recall her in high school getting paid mad money to decorate. Well, we're talking like, 90s. So we're decorating, jeans and jean jackets and all the things. But the idea of not being perfect is perfect in itself.
Yes.
Like, how awesome is that? Right?
Yes.
Like, that's beautiful. That's absolutely gorgeous. Oh, and we have more folks tuning in. We have Erica tuning in. Hello, Erica. We got everybody who's coming in. Okay, so we do have a question. I'm going to leave that question there because that's a good one. I want to leave it. We've got 2 more to go through because, like I said, Naomi's, I thought I was doing a lot of stuff as a Virgo. Clearly,
you are.
I need to catch up here. So there is Exhibiting 101 workshops. I have an idea what it is, but let me not assume. Would you tell our community what that is about?
Okay. For 35 years in business, it started many, many years ago, and so many would do a show and they would come to me and say, I didn't have a good show. And so I started noticing some of the things that would cause them not to have a good show and not get results. And a lot of them are just common sense things, but we know common sense is not common. And so Exhibiting 101 is a federal trademark. It's my first book that I haven't written. And the reason I haven't is because all these years I would give my free workshops in my office, and then I would have somebody give me a new idea that they were doing. And so every year, all these ideas kept coming and it kept growing and kept growing. And I'm thinking, okay, I guess I need to do the book someday, but all of these ideas, and then COVID hit. And of course that changed the whole landscape. But I was able to, just last week, so excited. I had my first in-person Exhibiting 101 workshop that I'd had in 5 years. And we'll talk about the why that happened in a minute. But it was so nice because I had a full workshop and I get the best responses. I think one of the best compliments I've ever had. And this was when I had my office. We had to close it down in 2020 due to COVID. Mm-hmm. But I had someone say, Naomi, I thought this was just going to be a 4-hour pitch about your shows, because I do 4-hour workshops. And he said, I had no idea you were going to help me build my business. Mm. And that's what it's all about. And it's just been a blessing to me to be able to help other people know what to do and be confident to do shows, or even if they don't do shows, it helps them build their business.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Now, I told myself I wasn't going to do it, but everybody knows I love a good sidebar, and I just cannot. I'm not going to hold this one. I'm not going to hold it really quick.
Okay.
Before I go into this sidebar, I want to just again welcome everybody to Small Biz Bites. We are sitting here today with Naomi Butler. She is a, masterful person. She's giving us all of the great tips, but we haven't even got into like the juice of it. But you mentioned something just now, and it struck me, and it kind of speaks to something I had a chat with. We talked about it some time ago on another show, and it is the idea that we as a society are being pitched so many times that the idea of someone giving their time means I'm going to come in and someone's going to try to sell me something, versus I'm coming in and someone is genuinely wanting to help me.
Yes.
Which is like, is there a string attached? Is there, because you mentioned that these were free. These were free before COVID. You had to shut everything down. Yes. And they were packed then.
Oh yeah. I know you never got to see my office in Addison, but I would have probably 12 to 20 workshops a year. Mm-hmm. And I would have up to 18 in my office, and they were kind of going out the door. And I used to start it with 6, and then it built to 12, and then we just kind of opened it up. And so I've given this workshop to thousands of people in this 35 years. And it's just been, I don't know, the teacher, I guess, is more blessed than the student sometimes. And I just feel so blessed that I'm able to help people and do this.
Well, I was reading something the other day about the idea of giving what is just in your heart to give
Yes.
versus being overly concerned about, well, someone wants to talk to me, so let me charge them, $25, or let me get, it's like, if you want 15 minutes, sometimes it's just, look, you just want to talk to me and ask a question. I am here to help you, because if you are genuinely helping people for the right reason, the money comes on its own. Like, you don't have to worry about that.
Yes.
Just, no one's going to steal your idea. No one's going to take something. It's like, no, I really want to help other people. So let me give it, and then it'll come back. I'll get that blessing somewhere down the line. It'll turn out for me. It'll work out. And we do have another hello. Good afternoon, Danny. Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. And I'm going to shout this out because I can. Danny has this beautiful opportunity coming to her. She's starting a new journey. So if you guys want to just send Danny some hugs and some love in the comments, let her know that we are rooting for her on this new journey. We are not working and moving through this life alone. There is a community for all the things. Speaking of attitude and gratitude, which is where I'm going. Attitude and gratitude. Naomi, please. Everybody has a testimony. Everybody has one. We will not pass around the collection plate today, but if you would, just share your testimony, please.
I'll give you the shortest version I can because it is a long story. Cancer stopped me in my tracks in 2018. And I went in for surgery for a 2-inch deep tumor that was close to my brain over here. There was kind of a knot, and I'd had TMJ for years. In fact, if anybody has TMJ, please go get it checked out. I had mine checked out 15 years before this. The MRI didn't show anything, but nobody told me get this checked out every 2 or 3 years. I wish I had. And so when I went in, the CT scan showed the 2-inch deep tumor. And they told me the first words I heard about parotid gland, and your parotid gland is your salivary gland. And the ENT originally said, no matter what, it's got to come out. They did the biopsy, didn't show it was cancer. I said, it's not cancer. So I went into this surgery thinking it's not cancer and believing that. Well, after 5 hours of surgery, he had to cut in front of the ear, behind the ear, down through my neck, and it looks so good. Gee, you probably never even noticed a scar.
No, I'm like, no.
He had opened it up. He had to peel the tumor off of 45 plus facial nerves on this right side, leaving the main facial nerve alone, or I would have been paralyzed. I said, I'm a speaker. I need to smile. Please, whatever. And so I was in the recovery room. And me and meds and anesthesia do not do well. And so I can't even open my eyes. I know my sweetheart Jack is there, my grown son and daughter, they're adults. Brian and Mary are there in the recovery room. And here I am laying there. I can't even, open my eyes. And I hear him say, you have cancer and you're going to be fighting for your life the next 7 months or more. And I said, I have cancer? And it's that shock when you first hear those words. And I started crying. And then I remembered they were in the room, and I was like, Naomi, get it together. You got to stop crying. So long story short is I didn't have time to go check into anything holistic or look at anything else. I had to get a tooth pulled for clearance. So I had to heal from the surgery and the tooth. And so within a month we were ready, because I said, let's do it all. Let's go for it all. So I had 35 radiation and 7 weeks of chemo. Everything ended up being 8 weeks because the immune system, you had to shut it down and bring it back up the next week. But this was my radiation mask.
Whoa.
What happens on head and neck cancer, it's a flat mesh type thing they put in a microwave, and then they put it on you, and it shrink wraps to your head, your face, your neck, your shoulders, and it turns into hard steel, and then they clamp it down during radiation. And there's a lot more to that, but I fought for my life. Every day was, I'm going to get through today. I'm going to get through today. They told me you're not going to have pain till the 34th week. Well, that TMJ started day one, and it was so bad. It was so painful. Day 2 of radiation was my first day of chemo, and I had a reaction to the chemo. I had to have morphine because of the pain of the TMJ. And then with all the meds, I told them, I said, I don't do well with meds, and they're trying to put them in so fast. And my throat was closing up. I was turning bright red. And they had to run, get the doctor, shut it down, start all over, put it in slower. So long story short, on cancer number 1 is they learned they had to start early, and I was always the last one to close the chemo bar down. Okay. I made it through number 1, and my radiation doctor had told me, even while you're doing this could go to your brain any moment. It's so close. And later he even told me, he said, because of your positive attitude, you made it through 1, like a lot of people don't. So what happened in 2020, year of COVID, cancer number 2 happened in my left lung. So I had to have a pleural biopsy. It was 3 garden hoses. It looks like I have 6 gunshot wounds in me from that surgery. And they had put talc powder in. I had to have double dosages of both chemos for 5.5 months. That was another fight for my life, another rough time. I made it through, and I know God was with me every step of the way, because my faith was strong, but it's a lot stronger now. And I don't know how I could have made it without him, but I made it through number 2. And then last year in March, I had number 3. It was in my chest wall, cancer number 3. And what they've told me, it's metastatic. That means it's in my blood and lymph nodes, and it can just pop up when and where it wants. Well, I'm trying to prove them wrong. Okay, so number 3 was a piece of cake. Like I say, I had 5 radiation. It was nothing. Number 4, cancer number 4 was a tumor in my upper abdomen that showed up in October last year. And we were watching it in January. It grew from 1 to 1.1 centimeter. And in March, I made this decision. I made a decision. I was going to get back out there because I'd been in a bubble. I mean, on cancer number 2, they said, Naomi, you can't get sick. You're not going to make it. My immune system was so low. So on cancer number 4, in March, I decided I'm going to get back out there. I'm going to go to networking meetings. I went to that Champions Business Conference that you and I were at in April.
Yes.
I got to be a fill-in speaker that second day. That was so exciting. Thanks to Ramon Ray, who I had done the book review for on my YouTube. And so I just was going to network meetings. I was out there, and I thought, I want to speak about this, share my story, and help others. Because in 2020, I set up my YouTube channel because I wanted to give hope and encouragement to others. And so when cancer number 2 happened, I told God, I know he's going to laugh at me. I negotiated with him. I said, okay, I felt led to set up my YouTube channel. We got to keep this going. We got to keep going here. So when I made that decision in March, I wasn't going to wait on the next scan result, which was coming up in May. And I was praying and believing and claiming that number 4 was gone. Keep in mind, last year, I started a lot of research on what foods, and I had 27 ingredients in my smoothie. I now have added quite a few more, but I was doing the oatmeal and the smoothie routine and a lot of anti-cancer, antioxidant. I found lymphotonic cleanse that I do because I thought I've got to find anything that can help the lymph nodes, and I'm still working on all of this. But in May, the results, when I went in, I always go to my chemo doctor and then the radiation doctor, and I walk in and the chemo doctor says normal. I said, what do you mean normal? And he showed me, because I get a paper of all the findings, number 1, 2, 3. Number 1 said resolution and it gave the abdomen. Gee, that meant it was not there. It was resolved. It was gone. Gone. Oh, and everything else had stable and improved. And so with all of this happening, and then I saw Ramon's post that he was going to be back in Dallas. I thought, I'm going to go see Ramon. I want Ramon to see me. And I noticed it was the National Speakers Association. So I thought, Naomi, you're wanting to speak? Join. Yep. I joined. I mean, I'm going all out. And I have been asked to speak on a lot of shows. Thank you, G. And some of those are on my YouTube channel right now. And then I'm speaking to different groups. It's just amazing. God's opening up so many opportunities like lightning. And what happened was the second book was going to be really living in the middle of the stuff. But God gave me these words, attitude and gratitude, yes. Really living in the middle of the stuff. And I spoke to a group just last Wednesday, and I drew this out because I was trying to find roses with thorns. I'm going to show you something. We all have trained ourselves to look at the positives with the roses. With the thorns, we look at the beautiful rose at the top. We're not focused on the thorns. So we don't put it in a vase like this.
Yeah.
It's focusing on those positives, making a choice to think positive, having those positive thoughts. It just creates this harmony between our mind and our heart, and it gives us peace. And so I'm really sharing that everywhere I can. So if you know anybody that wants me to speak to their group, please let me know. That's the short version.
I will say this. I remember a few years back, I say a few years, probably maybe like more like about 15 or so, where there was a doctor that did a study on persons who had a terminal illness. And those who had that positive attitude, the outcomes were far different than those who didn't have that.
Absolutely.
Positive attitude in a community, right? Because those two work. But just having that attitude in itself can change the entire story. We got some comments here. Black Eighth Element says, sometimes you lose sight of how blessed your life is when you hear about someone else's journey. You know, I am clear about this. Everybody has a path they have to take, and things happen to us.
Yes.
But the good Lord puts you in places where you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? Yes. So the fact that you and I sat next to each other back in April and had a conversation, and then have continued to chat and meet, and I'm just watching you soar. That's not like chance, right? You may have gone through some things. We are all still going through some things. The good Lord has plans for you, though, right? Like He needed you to be here to share your message and your testimony. So God bless you for being here to share that. And
thank you.
I mean, cancer is not a small thing. My brother and my mother and I, our family, we lost our father to lung cancer last year. And so we are still going through this new normal.
Yes.
But my father, he did what he was supposed to do. He has left an impact on all of us for the better. So it is clear that your job, your purpose on this world is not done yet.
Oh, no.
So much more to do. And so we are thankful to have you here. Gary says, shout out to the Breakfast.
Yes. Hi, Gary.
Back in April.
Yes.
Erica would like to know more about the lymph node clean details. You want to share some of that?
Yes. Here's what I found. And here's the thing. I'm not a doctor. I am not a neuroscience. I am not a specialist. I'm not a nutritionist. I just know that whatever I'm doing, in fact, Jack said this. He said, Naomi, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Okay. But I found this from herbs, HERB''S, herbs, etc. And it's called lymphatonic cleanse. And it is in two different forms. It's a liquid that has the top where you squeeze the liquid into it and you drop water or drops in water, and it's 30 drops into water. So I have a little ramekin that I'll put water in, and I'll put the 30 drops in. I'll drink it, put a little water in the ramekin and drink it. So I'm doing, it says 3 times a day, and I'm doing twice because I don't do mornings still. That fatigue is, there's a lot of side effects I deal with, and it's that morning fatigue that I deal with every day. So I eat brunch and I eat dinner, and I will do this at both of those meals. Now, they also have a pill form, but it's called Lymphatonic Cleanse from Herbs, etc. And I have had a lot of people ask me to do a video on my smoothie, and I have a lot of anti-cancer ingredients. One is amla, AMLA powder, and you've heard of spirulina. It's in part of the green powder that I put in. I have a lot of things that I'm learning. I also have a video, it's on my Facebook, and there's a book called Eat to Beat Disease by Dr. William Lee, L.I. And it's all about those foods that we eat that can help us heal our own bodies. And so I'm learning more and more, and I'm thinking I've got to go to the store and get some more things to put in my smoothie. And one of those things was broccoli sprouts, and I hadn't found those yet. I haven't made it to Whole Foods yet or online, but I just had the broccoli florets. I put a little bit because a lot of broccoli, I think too broccoli taste. So everything has to taste good, right?
Yeah.
So I just have a lot of different things. So I will be making a video about my smoothie that has all these ingredients. And by the time I get through with it, it'll be between 30 and 40 ingredients in one smoothie.
That'll be cool though, because yes, we are all different, but there may be something that's working for you that may work for somebody else, because clearly we are not one size fits all. Like that's what that is. Now, I do have a couple of questions. I know we have some questions in the comments as well. I do have questions that I also wrote down as you were talking about the shows and the businesses. Let me go to our first question here from Gary. He says, have you had to continue to reinvent yourself over your successful career?
Good question, Gary. Because every 3 or 4 years, things would change. Trends would change in our, whether it was the home improvement industry or the wedding industry or whatever we were doing, things would change. The way that we advertised changed. Because when I say I'm a show producer, I do it all. I rent the venue. I rent all of Market Hall for the Dallas Bridal Show. I have a full-time and a part-time team. I do all the advertising. So it's an in-house media agency, so to speak. And every few years, things would change. And when COVID hit, boom, we had to start all over. And there are a lot of show producers that went out of business. And we were fortunate because I went bare essentials, got rid of the office. Everybody's working remotely and just had to make a lot of pivotal changes. And I tell people, if you can have more than one thing going, because you don't want to depend on one money source, because we never know what might happen, what changes might happen, that we need to have something else with money coming in to rely on. So yes, the answer is a big yes, that we've had to make changes over the years. And it's amazing because back when, and I did all the traditional media, radio, newspaper, billboard, newspaper, it did great. And then
it was what we had then.
And of course, things are totally different now. And I can't give all my secrets away, but yes, things have changed and the thinking has changed in the bridal industry. The age has changed and they're trained at the colleges to get their career going first before they get married. So some of them now are second moms or second wives or stepmoms, and not second moms, I meant second wives. So, yes, there are many changes.
Well, you can be a stepmother, so it's in there. It's in there.
So there's so much more to that, but that's the shortest version.
So here's some questions I had. Are there particular businesses that do better at an expo than others. And we can use the bridal show as an example. So we know that clearly there are people there who are selling, you know,
Everything.
dresses, invites. I'm assuming there's caterers. I've actually never attended a bridal show. I've never walked into one.
Okay, you have to come to my Dallas bridal show at the end of this month. It's July 29 and 30 at Market Hall, 10 to 5 both days, and I can get you in free because you know me, okay? So you'll have to come check it out. And we're not back up to where we used to be because pre-COVID, we would have 300 companies in the show twice a year. And COVID changed all that. But we're very different. We do require business insurance. I wrote down about 17 ways that we're very different, but there's just, in answer to your question, it depends on what the company does pre-show, at the show, and after the show. So everybody can do great if they do those things that work, and that's what I teach in my workshops. And some of the simple things are stand and smile. I brought another show and tell for you somewhere here if I can find it. If I don't find it, that's okay. But you remember the Mona Lisa smile? Mona Lisa smile? I don't know. And how it took him years to paint that smile. And that's one of the simplest things. It's the most important thing that we can wear. I have my fashion videos that are so much fun on my playlist on my YouTube, but that smile, you would think that would be common sense to everybody. If they stand and smile and are interested and really care about the people that are attending the show, they're going to do better than somebody who sits behind a table, arms folded, no smile. They're not going to do well. So it just depends on what somebody does. So everybody can do well. It's that depending on what they do.
Yeah. Because I know I've been able to attend some shows since COVID, right? I mean, they're smaller.
Yeah.
And it amazes me because I have a retail background. So it amazes me how I can walk through this area.
Yes.
And there are so many people that are just behind the table or they're on their phone like.
Yep. I just wanted to it as you were saying it.
To do anything if you're not engaging with the people. Like, yes, they're here, but there's like hundreds of other people doing the same thing you're doing. I'm not understanding how this works for you. I don't. So it's almost as if, I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it. So everybody wants to be a business owner because according to social media, it's so easy. And we're sitting on yachts and we're drinking champagne every afternoon. So this idea that customers just come in and you don't have to do anything to get the sale or to earn the trust of this potential client, you get this area of people that don't engage. They don't talk about their product. They don't, like, you have to go up and say, oh, so you make so-and-so baskets. And they're like, yeah.
It's asking,
you want to tell me about the baskets?
It's asking the right questions. In fact, it's funny. I have this right here. I'm gonna pull it. This is part of what I show in my workshop. It's a lead slip example, and I tell them to ask the top 3 questions. What's most important to them and why. There's so many other things I've passed along, but it's really asking the right questions is one of the biggies, not just talking about what you do.
Yes.
If you just talk and not ask that person what they want, then you've lost them. So it's that common sense is not common, but there's so many things to make it work.
We have always said that if you're doing all the talking, that means you're not selling because you should be listening. And real quick, before we move to our next topic here, Erica says Esperlina is the best.
It is in a lot of different, I know the one thing I have, Erica, is it's one of the Amway green superfood powders, and it has spirulina in it. And I have ingredients from a lot of different companies. I have some Jump to Health that has a protein. I have all kinds of stuff in that smoothie. So watch my YouTube, because I will come out with that video about my 50 ingredient smoothie, whatever it ends up when I get through. But right now it's about 30.
Well, you know what? Well, let's go there since we've talked about it, because clearly there's talk of a YouTube channel. It's talk of a show.
Yes.
Called the Naomi Butler Show. Go ahead and give us more details about that.
It first started because of the cancer. So there's 22 cancer videos on there right now. And of course, because I'm an artist and I love to paint, I have art and painting tips and painting videos that even if you're not an artist, you might just watch them. Go to the very bottom and start there, because there's different parts. Like that one right there has, I think, 6 parts to it. And it's just fun and relaxing to watch. I'm a self-taught artist, self-taught business person, self-taught pianist. I was playing the piano in my dad's church. My dad was a preacher, so I'm a PK. You and I have that in common.
Preacher kid.
And by the time I was 17, I was playing the piano, and I'm talking by note. I taught myself by note. So don't look at how I place my fingers, because it's wrong, but it works for me. And so I had playing the piano. In fact, I go to an art group on Fridays, and the first and third Friday of the month now, the lady who saw me playing the piano outside the room asked me to be their pianist for their sing-along. And so I have that opportunity, and it's a challenge because I'm learning some music I've never seen in my life, never heard these songs. And it's really been fun. I love a challenge. And so that's part of it. Book reviews. I just did the one for Ramon Ray.
You did.
Celebrity CEO. And the second one that I'll be doing soon, we met Kim Walsh-Phillips there at that Champions Business Conference.
That's a good book.
And I have my notes ready to do the book review. And bless her heart, because we saw her. She used to work for, or has worked for, Kevin O'Leary with Mr. Wonderful, the Shark Tank. And she's been on the stage with Tony Robbins. So I have that one ready to go for number 2. And then I'm reading, a friend of mine wrote this one, Selling from Your Comfort Zone, Stacy Hall. That will be number 3. So I'm reading that one right now. And I have Fashion Fun Finds. I love helping people to get their fashion on by going to consignment stores and thrift stores, and I teach them what to do. And it's just been so much fun instead of paying retail. And let's see, I have business, motivational, all kinds of stuff because I just like doing so many different things and making dog clothes for my granddaughters. There's just so much on there, but it's really to help people to have fun, to give them hope and encouragement, maybe to give them a smile. And I'm just having fun. I am not a techie person, but I set that up by myself. I'm so proud of myself.
Well, you're in great company because Erica does a handful of everything, literally. A handful of everything. She's great. And then also Black Eighth Element also plays by ear as well. So he's done some things as well. So you're in great company. But
okay, so if he plays by ear, that's different because I play by note. I cannot play by ear. And that's a talent. I cannot do that.
The good thing is, I go back to the number of talents that we have, right? It's like we don't have to put ourselves in a box and figure that this is the only thing that you'll ever be known for or how you can define yourself. The world is your oyster. It really is. But I do want to go back to those two books specifically, The Shift and Celebrity CEO, as we're talking about this. The advice you have for businesses that choose to participate in expos, that's one. Yes. But then I want to take a little sidebar there because here you are as a business person continuing to develop your skills and knowledge by reading these other books. I know for myself, I read Celebrity CEO back in 2019. I have picked it up more than enough times this year alone, highlighting passages now because the first time I read it, but I didn't really do it. And now I'm doing it and it has a different take.
Yes.
So let's do the first one. Advice you have for anyone who wants to participate in the expo. As we said before, you mentioned it really all depends on what they're offering and if they are, I guess, prepared.
There's a lot of things that I could go into that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just business tips in general are going to be something that I share right now.
Okay.
Because it all fits together. And I tell people in my workshops that relationships, and I think that's number one to me, relationships are most important. And I call it ROR, return on relationships. So that's number one, because you have so many different people you work with, no matter who you are and what you do. And those relationships are imperative that you keep good relationships. I know marketing your business, I wrote a bunch down. You see my little notes. I wrote a bunch down, and it's not meaning in this order, but all of this applies whether you have a business or whether you're doing a show or not. These are just business tips. So marketing your business, you got to do that or you're not going to have anything left to market. Communication, all about those relationships, and listening. You talked about listening earlier. It's that 80-20 rule. When we ask a question and let them talk. I was at a wedding association meeting recently, and the speaker said, I think it was along this line, listening is not waiting for someone to talk. So that means when we're talking, we're not always thinking, oh, I need to throw this in or add this in. And I did it to you a while ago, and I apologize, but I was like, I want to make sure I say that. But we got to really listen. And we all do this, but it's really listening, really being present and caring. And learn and grow constantly. That's one of my biggest ones. I read a book a week from 2006 to 2012.
Oh.
And so when I started this book review, I thought, Naomi, you've got hundreds of books to do. And of course, I give away a book at my workshop to every attendee. So I used to go to half price books and go to the clearance aisle, and I'd get them for $1, $2, $3. Now you can't get them for that price, but I would buy 100 at a time.
It's changed.
No. And so you want to listen to CDs, you want to read books. I'm one of those. I have to have the book. I have to touch it. And then the smile, be creative. Don't forget your current and past clients. Stay in touch with them. People are always looking for the new clients and the new potential customers. Don't forget your previous ones. Stay in touch with them and keep those relationships going. Have some me time. You were talking about that earlier. Have some me time. You got to take a break, because I used to be such a workaholic, and yes, I've had to change all of that now because of what's been going on, but you got to take some me time. You got to refresh and take that vacation. There is a song, and it's out there. It's got a different last name that I can't change on this, but it's called Working Your Leads Song, and it's on YouTube. It's corny. It has a message. You're going to see the cat leaning back with a beer, and I can't sing it. I did practice before, but it's all about working your leads so that you can take that vacation in the sun. You'll have to listen to it. It's corny, but it does have a message. One step at a time. Insurance, have business insurance. I can give you lots of stories on that. Everything I tell you, I have thousands of stories.
Yes.
Networking, big time. Again, relationships, a daily system, and eat that frog, doing what's most important first. Have a good CPA, attorneys. I have so many attorneys I work with. And then I'm going to give you and he said this. He said, motivation is like a shower. I want to make sure I say it right. Okay. Doesn't last very long, but you have to take one every day.
Oh, that's awesome.
There you go.
That's true.
Because right now,
I'll be feeling it's like, I'm over it now. I'm so over it. Erica says, I was just thinking we would be great friends. Yeah.
And I'm going to
do you for sure.
How to follow Erica Payne. Okay, got it.
And Gary says he is almost done with Celebrity CEO. But you know what? There are a couple of books, if I may, and I'll put it back up there again. There are a couple of books that even after you read them, they become more like a reference. Because I read it. It's a very easy read. It's a beautiful book. And like I said before, the first time I read it, I was like, okay, this is great. Okay. But I didn't take a lot of action. Now that I am actually doing what's in there, I go back to, let me just highlight this part. Let me see what he says again about XYZ, because now it has a different context as I'm going through the steps of building my celebrity-ness. That's a word today. Don't judge me. Okay. Time is moving so fast. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, future for you and your businesses?
Moving forward and taking one day at a time, that we are definitely having to constantly look at a different landscape that we're dealing with that we weren't before COVID. And so just moving forward one step at a time and accepting every challenge as an opportunity, I think, for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I just, like I was thinking the other day, we all have a testimony. Every single person watching either now or in the replay, we have gone through something, going through something, or will. But we have choices. You can either take this, as we say, the storm, and ride it out, right? My dad always said, because, you know, I mean, I love storms, but they also terrify me at times. He's like, please don't pick up my car. But I remember coming from New York, because we had just visited for colleges and stuff, and there's this awful storm going through Pennsylvania. And he was like, you just drive through it. You just take your time and drive through, because on the other end, it's perfectly fine. And I thought, a lot of us go through a storm and we just get stuck. And we get lost in our ways. We don't know how to go forward. And we just get stuck there. And so we're in this perpetual, say purgatory, if you will. But if you can see that, you know what, this is just temporary.
Yes.
On the other end of this is a rainbow, is blue skies, is a better opportunity. Whatever I'm going through right now, God bless it, it may be awful, but I am sure of it. There is something more amazing on the other side. All I gotta do is get there. Take my time and get there. I'd love to get there faster, but you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you gotta go through all the steps. But that is the beauty of everybody having a story to tell and being able to share that story with others. So don't discount what you're going through, people. Don't discount it. Clearly, Naomi is clear proof, all right, that if you have the right attitude and you appreciate getting up every single day with all the strength you can muster, my God, you are blessed, okay? So make sure we're counting our blessings as we bring this to a close, because, oh my goodness, time is ticking. Any fun projects in the works? Anything that you've got going on?
A little bit of all of the other that we talked about. I'm always working on my shows. I have one just in a few weeks, so that's a priority. And in the middle of that, helping people as much as I can, putting videos on my YouTube that help people, such as the smoothie video. I've got to get that done, but I love playing the piano, making the dog clothes, painting. And so it's a little bit of all of that, and not just one thing, but I'm just, like you mentioned the word blessed. I'm so grateful every day. I was talking to somebody on the phone the other day, and I said, whoa. Do you hear those birds? The birds were singing. And so I think I'm more present with hearing these things that I didn't hear before and didn't pay attention to before, and just feel so blessed that I am still here. And I think God's purposes for me, it's similar to goals, in my opinion. We have a goal, we get there, and then we have another goal. So for me, God showed me this purpose, and when I got here, He's showing me another purpose, and then another purpose. So I don't think we just have one purpose in life.
No.
I think God keeps showing us other things that we can do.
Oh, we got a minor. Uh-oh.
Oh,
There we go. All right. I think you're back. I believe you're
I'm
back.
I'm definitely moving forward. Let me close this. Does that make it better? Nope.
There we go.
It's still
No,
bright.
you're good. I think you're good.
The sun. I love it.
Yeah. But being present makes all the difference in life. There are so many things going on. And people used to talk about Prince not allowing cell phones in Paisley Park because he wanted people who were hearing his music to be present in the moment. Yeah, I agree with him on that. Be present in the moment. Please, please, oh, please. So, Naomi, thank you so much for giving us this hour. It goes by so fast. It goes by so fast. And I want to say this, and forgive me, Spencer, forgive me dearly. But Spencer also, from my understanding, has a new opportunity coming his way. So, crowds, either here now or in the replay, show Spencer some love as well as he starts his new journey. We are here for all of the new journeys. I mean, we're not just one thing, and life will send us changes, but our community will always have our back. We can ride or die. More ride than die, but ride or die. we are
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
I have a question for you.
Oh, okay.
And if you saw my Jeff Crowley show, I
I
interviewed
most
him.
certainly did. I did see the show.
I have a question because y'all don't know this, but when G and I met, not at the conference, but it was another meeting we had, she said something. And G, I'm gonna put you on the spot here.
Okay.
You said something that I've never heard from anybody else, and you said you don't worry about anything, and I loved that.
Oh yeah.
So, how did that come about, or is that something that you can share with us? How do you not worry about anything?
Okay, well, I'm going to give it to my upbringing. I'm gonna shout out my mother, a retired minister, who at her many eulogies and even in our household would share that she has yet to see a U-Haul follow a hearse. Now, as a kid, I didn't get it. I do find myself quoting that sometimes. So thank you, Mother. But the stuff that we have here, it's just stuff. It's just here. It's like we're only here for a moment. So you could either spend your time worrying about what could be, or you could put your faith in the good Lord, get up in the morning and call it a day. So I choose to do the latter. I'm not concerned. Am I doing what I have to do? Yes, I make good decisions. I know if I don't pay the light bill, there won't be lights in 30 days. Okay, so let's not take that out. But I'm not worried about what's happening outside these four walls, or what could be, or what may be. I am in the present. I'm with my family, I'm with my friends. I want to enjoy that. I want to soak up their energy. I just want to take care of the time that we have right here, right now, because once it's done, it is done. And there you won't have the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. So no, I don't worry. No, I don't think about it. I just know that it's going to work out the way it's supposed to work out. There is something on the other end that is waiting for me. And when it's my time to get there, then I will receive it. And that's it. That's how we do it. And then it gives you wrinkles. We don't want wrinkles anyway.
Hey, and it's not gray hair, it's wisdom highlights.
Wisdom highlights.
Yes. Well, I'm just so blessed to know you and grateful for you. I had to ask that. I know I put you on the spot, but
no, you're fine, because I have had it. We've had that question a number of times, even with my boss beforehand, and she would say, "Well, what keeps you up at night?" I said, "Nothing. I'm not worried about any of this. No, not worried about it." As my mother also said, when you're dead and gone, go find somebody to work your shift. So take your PTO and take care of yourself. So those things were burned into my brain. I'm not concerned.
Well, I love your mom.
Mother has many jewels. Yes, she has many jewels. She has done her job. My father has done his job. And this is what it is. This is what it is. I don't think about it. I'm not worried about what someone else is doing. I got my own grass to cut. I'm right here. I'm right here, right now. And then, I do dream. We still dream, but worried, freaking out. Nah, the good Lord got me. So, hey, that's it. I don't need anything else. Thank you. I forgot. You do like to ask that one question at the end. Thank you for asking that. Oh my goodness. Everybody who has tuned in today with the Small Biz Bites with Naomi Butler, ma'am. Blessing us with her presence, because clearly the good Lord has things planned for her. So she is still doing her thing, walking in her purpose. Thank you for giving us this hour. Thank you for everybody who is tuning in either now or in the replay on Facebook, LinkedIn, and on YouTube, I should say. And lastly, if you wish, like, share, subscribe, and also too, if you want to hit that notification bell. We like to do some things here. We like to have fun. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you all next week.